Hello, welcome to the new face of decision management. My name is Jared Michalec, and I'm the Worldwide Technical Sales Leader for BPM and Decision Management at IBM. Today we're going to focus on the new capabilities in the latest version of Operational Decision Management. On the screen you can see the interface called the Decision Center Business Console, and over the next 10 to 15 minutes I'm going to use this interface to take you through some of the capabilities that make this offering truly game-changing. Now the first thing I'm going to do is log in as myself, Jared, and as I do, you can see the first screen I'm presented with is a dashboard with everything I might need to work on in a given day. I can also add my picture and other information to my profile, which is going to come in useful later in the demonstration. Now in this scenario, I'm playing the role of a decision author for an insurance company offering dynamic quotes to its customers. My job title might be business analyst, IT developer, or anywhere in between, as we will see later in the demonstration. Now as I hover over each of these rules, I can see some details about them, such as when they were created, who created them. I can also click the star to have them as followed rules, which means these are rules that are important to me. You can see at the bottom, I have some new rules added as my followed rules, and along the right-hand side, I can see some more details about what rules I'm following. Now another key aspect is the activity stream. This allows us to see at a glance what's happened with this particular project. And you can see previous activity that's occurred, such as the creation of the project and updates made a couple weeks ago. But I can also add my own activities to this stream and enter in a comment. Wow, this new interface is great. I can't wait to start exploring. I can post this comment right away. And this shows up in other people's dashboards so they can see my comments and my updates as they log into their dashboard as well. Now let's take a deeper look in the project itself. I click on the library, and I can mouse over any of these projects to see some of the recent activity and click on them to get into the project itself. You can see some of the changes along the left-hand side. What we're going to do is take a snapshot. Now snapshots are very important because this allows us to seamlessly version control our project. With one click, I can add a comment, click Create, and this is going to allow us to save the state of the project at this moment in time. And at any point in the future, I can revert back to this project or compare it to other versions in case I need to move something back or see what's changed. Now another aspect of this is the ability to search. I'm going to click the price search, and you can see along the left-hand side there's lots of different aspects I can choose from. So if I'm looking for a decision table, and I might look for it that's been changed within a given date time, I can very quickly and seamlessly see all of the activities and quickly get to where I need to go. Now in this project, it's not quite as important because it's a smaller project, but as projects grow to hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of rules, this capability is going to become extremely important. I'm going to go ahead and drill down on this comprehensive price table, and you can see this particular table is allowing us to set base premium values depending on the vehicle value and the deductible chosen when they're issuing their quote. Now I want to go in and maybe make a change to this rule. I can click the Edit Rule button. You can see right now it's version 1.0. And I can go in and make a change. Now one of the nice aspects of this decision table is it's inline error checking. So you can see I entered in a value that said $40,000, between $30,000 and $40,000, and there's been a gap added, and the tool will automatically pick this up and display it in a very intuitive way. I'm going to go ahead and correct that gap that I just created, and let's change some base premium values. So I might just increase some of these, such as 40 to 45, and maybe 48 to 52. Then we'll change maybe one more, 27 to 29. Right, so let's go ahead and now save this. Note that we're still in version 1. It prompts me to add some comments on this particular version, so I'm just going to say that I updated some base premium values, create a new version. And now you can see at the top, we're in version 1.1. So this is automatically setting versions for us. So every time we click Save, it's going to hold on to a value, to a version of that rule. And we can click the timeline view to see exactly what's changed, when it's changed, and who changed it. I can also click on previous versions to see what the state was at that moment, and click the Restore if I want to go back to that particular version of the rule. So both the snapshots and this seamless version control allow us to manipulate the project however we need to. Now another capability to find assets quickly is the filter. And you can see as I'm typing into the filter, the list is limited based on the keywords that I've typed in. So I'm going to go ahead and drill down on the young driver surcharge. And you can see this is a natural language rule. The other rule was a decision table. In this case, it's a natural language rule that we call an action rule. And I'm going to make a change to this rule. So in this case, we're looking for certain conditions when we're going to apply a young driver surcharge. And perhaps we also want to make this dependent on the vehicle value. So you can see as I type, I get a contextual menu that allows me to either point and click and choose from a menu, or I can type in the values myself. So we're going to set that the value of the vehicle is at least a dollar amount, and we'll say $5,000. I can auto format the rule and then click the end edit. Again, I get this prompt to add a comment on this version. So I've added vehicle value to the check, and we'll create a new version. Now, right when I created this, I realized, oh, I needed to make that $5,000. It should have been $6,000. So perhaps I want to go back in, edit the rule again, and just change that 5,000 to 6,000. So every single time I save this rule, I can add a version, and it automatically persists a state of that rule. So if I ever need to go back, I can do that. So again, going back to the timeline, we can see the history of this particular rule when it was created and each change that was made, as well as a little icon showing me which snapshot it's associated with. Now we're going to talk about one of the most important aspects of this interface, which is the collaboration. Now, so far you've seen me working somewhat in a vacuum where I'm creating rules, changing rules, but in a real-world implementation, that is not how it's going to work. In the real world, I'm going to need people to review these rules, promote these rules, approve these rules, and publish these rules, and all work together seamlessly without having to send a lot of emails or documentation back and forth. So to simulate that, I'm going to play the role of Phil. Now I might get in trouble here, but you can see I'm logging in now to Internet Explorer. Previously, and as Jared, I was working in Firefox, but as Phil, I'm going to use Internet Explorer. And I'm going to go back and forth here, and I'll try to highlight where I do that. But keep in mind that I'm now acting and playing the role of two different users. So Phil's going to log in, and you can see along the top right-hand side, he's logged in with his name, he has his picture, and he gets a very similar dashboard to the one that Jared had when he logged in. You can see some of the changes that have been made, those changes that Jared made just a few minutes ago. You can look at the activity stream and see those changes at a glance. And you can also drill down on some of those and add comments of his own. So for example, yes, it is great, isn't it? And then we'll have Jared create a new rule. So we'll say, why don't you try adding your own rule? We'll post that. And now, changing hats again, we're going to switch back to Firefox for Jared. And Jared's going to go back to his home page. You'll see I'm logged in as Jared, and there's Phil's update. And I might answer back, sure, sounds great. But what rule should I add? Right, so we'll pop back over to Phil, and you can see the back and forth that's occurring now. This real-time collaboration, just in being able to communicate within the project itself without relying on email or other kinds of chat interfaces. This is working directly in the project, and it's also storing this information for historical purposes, so we can look back and see why certain things were done. So as Phil, I'm saying maybe we should add a surcharge for sedans in New Jersey. Okay, now let's pop back over to Jared. So Jared is the rule author, right? Phil may be the approver or the reviewer. So as Jared, I'm coming back into Firefox, and I'll now drive into the library to add that new surcharge for sedans in New Jersey. So I'm going to add this to the pricing project. And before I do that, I'm going to take another snapshot, just to make sure as we go that we're saving the state of the project. Now you saw it automatically saves the state of each rule as we save them and change them, but we also want to kind of save the entire project as a whole periodically to make sure that we can go back and compare changes when we need to. So I'm going to click the new rule button, and I get the choice of either a text-based or table-based. I'm going to create a text rule. and we'll give it a name, Special New Jersey Sedan Surcharge. I have the choice to put it into a folder. I'm just going to put this into our surcharge folder. And I click Create. And now I'm presented with the editor interface, where again, I can point and click and choose from the dropdown, or I can simply type in the rule as I become more familiar with the technology. And in this case, we'll only add one piece of the condition, right? The state, the residence of the driver is, and I typed in is, and then we get a choice. We can either type in New Jersey or choose it. And the action, when that's true, is going to be to add $1 surcharge. Let's say $20. It's a surcharge to the quote. And we'll just type in a quick reason that it's our special New Jersey sedan surcharge. And we'll go ahead and save it. Now, obviously, this rule is a bit incomplete, but we want to show how that review process can work in conjunction with the editing process. So we'll give this a comment and create this version. And it looks good. So now we can hop back over to Phil, again using Internet Explorer, and go into Phil's dashboard. You'll see at the top he created a new special New Jersey surcharge. We'll look at it. Uh-oh, we're missing a piece, right? We're missing that it's a sedan. So within this interface, we can add another comment that we forgot to add sedans. So Phil's going to post that. We'll go back to Firefox for Jared. And within Jared's stream, and we can either go to our homepage or we can see the stream within the rule itself, and I can just go to my stream, and there's Phil's comment. We'll add a comment of our own. And I'll fix that right now. We'll post that, and now let's go fix that rule. And we can hyperlink directly from that stream. So everything is one click away, so we can quickly navigate to where we need to make changes, where we need to add things. So in this case, we're going to add the and condition where the type of vehicle is a sedan, auto format, and we'll save that and add a quick comment and create our new version. And again, we have that timeline that's being developed. We now are in version 1.1 of that project, of that rule. So constantly, automatically saving the state of each asset as we create it and as we edit it. You can also look in this stream. You can see there's our comments. Just ask him to take a look. Okay, now we're going to change back over to Phil, Internet Explorer. And when he pops over, he sees that comment automatically populated. He looks at it. Okay, looks good. And we'll add one final comment. And post it. So now as Phil, I'm now going to take control of this project, and maybe it's getting ready for deployment. So I'm going to go back to the project, maybe create another snapshot. And this is just going to highlight that we can use snapshotting regardless of which user is doing it. And so continuously going back and forth, but also saving that snapshot and tracking who's saving those as well. So we're getting ready for new deployment. We'll create the snapshot. You can see along the left-hand side, it's going to get added. We can click the snapshots link to see only the snapshots. You can see 1.1, and 1.2. Now, one last piece of this, I want to show how you can get to assets in very different ways. So for example, that new rule that Jared created, I may want to search for that. I might not know where that is, but coming in the morning, I may want to look for any surcharges that are new. So I can go in and just dynamically change these values and choose to look for new action rules. You can see at a glance, again, getting to that asset quicker and more seamlessly from the interface. You can view the timeline, and I might then approve it and set this state now to deployable. I want to thank you for joining us on today's demonstration. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them now or if you want to take a closer look at operational decision management, we'd be happy to schedule a follow-up in the future. Thanks and have a great day.